was first recognized by the Galactic Council, few paid them any real attention. They were a species of moderate resilience, able to tolerate both heat and cold, and possessed a respectable power-to-weight ratio. The only thing remotely remarkable about them was that they were among the rare non-apex predator species to reach sentience, let alone space. Still, most considered them deeply flawed. Their history was riddled with internal strife. The death of a single leader could ignite wars of succession lasting years. They were not the worst the galaxy had seen, but far from the best. Volatile, divided, and, in the Council's eyes, lacking any true sense of honor. It was the Traxi who first saw potential in this weakness. They waited patiently, anticipating the moment when humanity's fragile unity would collapse into civil war. 27 years after the humans joined the Council, that spark finally came. What began as a dispute among human nations erupted into an inferno of violence that consumed their entire species. The images from that first week of conflict still haunt me. The scale of slaughter was beyond comprehension. No compassion, no restraint, only cold, calculated destruction. When the human war entered its twilight, the Traxi struck. Millions of their soldiers and countless warships poured into human territory. Planet after planet fell. Millions of humans perished. The rest of the galaxy watched in silence. Some even aided the invaders, trading weapons and supplies for promises of future territory. Humanity was on the brink of extinction, and no one lifted a hand to stop it. But then, impossibly, the humans united. Centuries of hatred vanished in weeks. Enemies who had sworn to destroy each other now fought side by side as brothers. The Traxi advance, once unstoppable, ground to a halt. After conquering 73% of human space in 6 weeks, they could not push another light year forward in the next 8 months. The Traxi had done something unimaginably dangerous. They had given humanity a common enemy. 2 years into the war, the unthinkable happened. The Traxi began to lose ground. Their media claimed it was all strategic, meant to draw the humans into costly battles. Perhaps that was true. Yet every planet the humans reclaimed, they fortified beyond reason. They would dig in, as they called it, an insane tactic, to hold ground and let the enemy come to them. And come they did. The Traxi battered human lines again and again, only to be thrown back. Then, just when it seemed the humans would stop, they launched counteroffensives, so fierce that the Traxi were forced into chaotic retreats. Brutal, relentless, and effective. The Traxi would never admit it, but they were losing. 6 years have now passed since the beginning of what has become the largest war in 5 centuries of galactic history. The Council had assumed the humans would stop once their territory was restored. The Council was wrong. The humans did not merely want their worlds back, they wanted vengeance. They wanted to erase the Traxi threat from existence. In a cruel twist of fate, it was now the Traxi fighting for survival. Panicked, the Council called for an emergency peace summit. To everyone's surprise, the humans agreed. For the first time since the war began, a ceasefire was declared. Representatives from the Traxi, the humans, and the 9 Council races gathered to negotiate peace. The humans were calm, reasonable, even courteous toward the Council, yet they refused to so much as look at the Traxi. In hindsight, that should have been a warning. But at the time, I thought it only natural. I was part of that diplomatic mission, and for the first time in years, I allowed myself to hope. That hope lasted until the Traxi, invoking their right as the conquered party, demanded monetary compensation for their losses. They spoke of lands still held by human forces when the Traxi ambassador raised his demand. The human delegation fell silent as the words reached them. Time stretched. Finally, one of the human delegates, the member for Chennai, broke the hush. "Please, tell me this is some kind of joke," he said. "Of course not," the Traxi replied. "It is our right to ask. It is your duty to comply." The member for Chennai stared, disbelieving. The human delegation fell silent once more. The human leader rose slowly and said, voice calm, "You will have our answer within the hour." He left the chamber, followed wordless by his entire party. The Council exhaled. Relief spread through the room. It seemed the humans intended to accept a peace. We waited. At the second hour, a human transmission arrived. For several seconds, the vid screen showed only the human leader sitting perfectly still, watching us with a look no one could read. The member for Shanghai muttered, "God damn hard to read computer. Identify emotion." The computer chimed. Emotion identified. Barely contained rage. The human leader smiled at the Traxi member. "My dear council members," he said, "I regret to inform you we cannot accept the terms for peace as they stand." He inclined his head to the Traxi delegate, still smiling. "However, we are willing to compromise." A Traxi aide burst into the chamber. "Sir, the human ships are on the move." The vid split. On one side, the human leader. On the other, the Traxi homeworld, ringed by the entire human armada. How did you? The Traxi ambassador sputtered. The human leader only smiled. Then, without warning, the armada opened fire. In seconds, millennia of Traxi culture erupted into ash. Billions died before they could comprehend the horror. One of the great empires of the galaxy was gone in a single, roaring instant. The chamber was frozen. Even the Traxi grief was soundless. "As you can see," the human leader said, voice steady, "we have decided to compromise. 16 billion of my people have died since this conflict began. I propose trading 10 billion of your citizens for 16 billion of ours. A fair compromise." His use of the word compromise was venomous. Scorn shaped every syllable. "We are open to negotiation," he added, turning that same smile toward the council. "Are you insane?" roared the member for Chinai. "You have declared war on the entire Galactic Council. This is not peace. There will be no peace until your race is wiped from memory." The human leader's smile fell away. Rage flamed behind his eyes. "Good," he said. "I was hoping you would say that." 14 days had passed since the Traxi-human war reached its climax. There was no treaty, no surrender, no ceasefire. One side simply no longer had a people. In that fortnight, the council fractured, outraged by the council's earlier inaction and by its failure to prevent the slaughter in the war's opening months for member races defected. They had once counseled restraint when the Traxi first moved against humanity. Now they voted to stop the Traxi by force. It was unthinkable. The council at war with itself for the first time in 570 years. "Humans," my companion said, nudging me and snapping me out of a daydream. "Truly insane." He idly picked at the edge of a metallic close-combat knife as if it were a nail. Prometa smiled back. "Not on your life," I said. "This will be the first time in nearly 6 centuries that the Anorak go to war." My friend's grin widened. No, my friend. On the continent it's been far too long. This shall be fun. His laugh burst out, reckless and bright. "Stay alive long enough, and I'll show you how to cook the perfect steak." I shook my head. The humans were truly insane.